Hi there, my name is John Stevens, pastor of Zion Lutheran Church in Oregon City, Oregon, and we're part of the ELCA. And welcome to Dollar Store Children's Sermons, where we take a look at the lectionary text and we tie them to an item from the dollar store. This is, for the narrative lectionary, we're looking at Acts chapter 17. And the item I'm using is a storybook. It's a book and a story, and it can be any story. This one happens to be a story about horses and ponies. It can be any story, but you can talk about how you can bring your favorite children's book if you'd like. You can talk about stories. Anyway, the reason I'm using this is because Paul in Acts is telling the story about Jesus. And when we have a favorite story, we can't help but tell that story. And here Paul is telling the story to anyone who will listen. He's in the synagogue, he's in the streets, but he's telling the story of Jesus. And we are called then to tell that story. We are called to tell the story of Jesus, especially in the season, not especially, I'm thinking because we're in the Easter season, we can talk about the resurrection, but we talk about that all the time. And that's the good news. The good news is that God interacts in our lives, that God wants to be in our lives, that the good news is that God raised Jesus from the dead, and that brings new life, and all these wonderful good news stories that we get to tell. So the idea, the item, again, is the storybook, and it can be a favorite story. I might bring Where the Wild Things Are. But anyway, you can pick up a story from the Dollar Tree or Dollar Store, or you can pick up any of your favorite stories. I like the kids' stories. That the reason this drew me is that because it's we've got Grover, and we've got and it's Sesame Street, and this idea of a favorite thing. When I was a kid, Sesame Street was one of my favorite shows, and so that tie-in. Anyway, but we when there's something that brings us joy and new life, we like to tell those stories, and so that's where I'm going. All right, thanks for stopping by. I hope this is a springboard for your own thinking, and again, I hope you have a blessed week.